Good morning from Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena, on a historic day for the Big East Conference. For the first time in Big East history, a former member is coming back home. A founding member is back. UConn is back in the Big East. The Huskies and the Big East, they will begin their marriage once again in 2020-21. And you're talking about a men's basketball program that is part of the rich history of this conference, that has accounted for a quarter, that's right, a quarter of the Big East men's basketball regular season titles, that has won 4 national championships as well over the course of their history, 3 of which came in their Big East era. So this, a welcome sight inside the world's most famous arena. UConn will call this place home again every conference championship week during March. In women's basketball, it goes without saying, the Connecticut Huskies are the standard in the sport. 11 national championships in their history. Now Gino Auriemma, he calls the Big East home once again. In just mere moments, we will hear from Big East Commissioner Val Ackerman as well as University of Connecticut President Susan Herbst. They will address the media. But before we do that, let's look at what has been and what can be as UConn returns to the Big East.
My second year at UConn, terrific game, beating Boston College first round NIT semis and then Ohio State before 18,000 people here as a Big East team.
And UConn has won the NIT.
From that moment, in 1990,
Up to Smith. He's had the hot hand. Alley-oop.
Syracuse, Georgetown, within 24 hours, 2 afternoon games.
UConn captures the Big East tournament.
You know, kind of, we didn't look back that much after that.
Allen with Iverson on him, throws one up. Unbelievable!
Kemba Walker, 5 games, 5 days.
Step back, Walker, Kemba does it again!
It's clearly one of the 2 or 3 greatest memories of my basketball life.
Connecticut has won the Big East championship!
So the Big East was really special to us. I mean, neighborhood fights are always the best. Fights in families, I call it. After the fight, you still have love and respect for the person in the family.
And Connecticut wins the Big East championship.
If you're a great singer, you aspire someday to be on Broadway. Well, now you're on Broadway. You're on the mecca of basketball.
The team of the decade has another Big East championship.
This is the place that so many great players always aspire to get to. I think that nothing, quite frankly, encapsulates college athletics like the Big East and Madison Square Garden.
Welcome, everybody. And for some, welcome back. I'm John Paquette from the Big East office. We have lots of Big East staffers here to help you do your job or anything you may need today, so please call on us. I'm going to explain briefly the format for today. We will have remarks from Big East Commissioner Val Ackerman and University of Connecticut President Susan Herbst. After Val's remarks, we will have a brief photo opportunity right here, right in front here. And after President Herbst's remarks, we will have a short Q&A, and I will moderate that Q&A. We have a microphone over here. We also have the ASAP transcription service, so we'll have a full transcription of today's news conference. And the media workroom, for those media who are filing stories, it's going to be the regular season Madison Square Garden workroom, and we can escort you up there if you don't know how to get there from here. So anyway, so let's get started. And first for Big East Commissioner Val Ackerman with some remarks. Val?
Great, thanks so much, John. And hi, everybody. Thanks so much for coming today. I want to start off by thanking our good friend Joel Fisher, Executive Vice President here at Madison Square Garden, the longtime home of the Big East Men's Basketball Tournament, for making this great space available to us today for this very, very special announcement. It was 40 years ago, plus just about a month, that Dave Gavitt and Mike Tranghese and a group of their colleagues announced to the world that a new basketball super conference was being formed with 7 charter members representing the most prestigious basketball schools in the East. Since that historic moment in May of 1979, the Big East journey has been one of many twists and turns. There have been highs, there have been lows, there have been comings and goings, colorful coaches, hard-fought competition, enduring rivalries, magic and unforgettable moments in this building, and fan passion and loyalty that's matched the avidity of any group of fans anywhere. It's been a remarkable 40-year march for the conference, to say the least. When the Big East reconfigured in 2013, our president set out to return the conference to its roots and reclaim the focus on basketball that was at the heart of Dave's vision back in 1979. But the new start was about more than just basketball for the new Big East schools. Our presidents also wanted a league where the members were colleagues and partners and collaborators who had a shared sense of purpose about the power of college sports to bring together and energize faculty, students, alums, university communities, and of course student athletes and coaches and staff in a way that very few activities on campus can. Bringing back in some measure the vibe of the Big East in its heyday was also very much on their minds. So today's announcement is a nod to both of those goals. So as we head into our 41st year, this proud and history-making conference couldn't be more excited to announce that the University of Connecticut is coming back to its original home and will once again be a Big East school. Things have gone very well for us with our 10-school lineup these past 6 years, thanks in large part to our partnership with the Garden and with Fox Sports, and the outstanding performances of our coaches and student athletes. But the opportunity to add a member who's a national basketball brand that's in our geographic footprint, who has an outstanding fan base with proven support of our biggest annual event, and who brings the added bonus of having a deeply etched, shared history with us and intense rivalries with many of our schools. All of that taken together represented an opportunity that we simply couldn't pass up. A few details to confirm what's already been in the news. UConn's date of entry in the Big East hasn't been formally determined, but it wouldn't be earlier than July 1st, 2020. UConn will bring 20 sports to the Big East. We now have 22 sports that we sponsor as a conference, and the only ones that would not involve Husky student athletes are women's golf and men's lacrosse, because these are sports UConn doesn't field. As an historical note, UConn won 80 Big East Conference titles in its first 34 years with our league, and so we know they'll be bringing A-game level competition when their second round with us gets underway. UConn's entry will mean that we'll move to 20-game conference schedules in men's and women's basketball, which will allow us to preserve our current double round robin format and keep us in lockstep with the other power basketball leagues that have also moved to 20-game conference formats. Given the tremendous depth of our league, we expect this will make Big East Conference play the toughest and most exciting in men's college basketball. Finally, to anticipate a possible question, we have no plans at this time to add a 12th member school. I want to thank Susan Herbst for her efforts and leadership in making this day possible. And Susan, we wish you all the best as your impressive term at the helm of UConn comes to a close in August. Our thanks go as well to Governor Lamont, Attorney General Tong, and the UConn Board of Trustees for providing the approvals needed for this move to happen. We've had the pleasure of meeting incoming UConn President Tom Katsouleas, and we very much look forward to launching with him a long and exciting partnership that we know will bring great benefits and a new round of athletic successes to both Connecticut and the Big East. I want to thank UConn Director of Athletics Dave Benedict for all of his hard work in bringing us to this moment. Under Dave's oversight, UConn athletics are clearly in great hands, and we look forward to a fruitful working relationship with him, his coaches, and his staff. We're, of course, excited about the prospect of working with Coach Gino Auriemma, who I've had the honor of knowing for many years, and Coach Dan Hurley. We know you'll be great additions to our basketball coaching ranks, and we're very honored to have both of your programs under the Big East umbrella. To all of UConn's coaches, I want to say thank you for everything that you do every single day for your student athletes. We look forward to getting to know all of you, and I pledge to you that we'll do everything that we can at the conference office to support your efforts in developing not just great athletes, but great people who will go on to be proud UConn alums and productive members of society long after their Big East playing days are over. I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge Frank Saviano and Joe Lassesi from the law firm of Proskauer Rose for representing us so capably in this exciting matter, and to Steve Greenberg and Allen and Company for their valuable advice and counsel to our board during this process. To Husky Nation and whatever part of it may be watching, thanks in advance for all your support of our teams, and if history is any guide, we know that you're going to make our men's basketball tournament here at the world's most famous arena, which we think is already the best event of its kind in the sports world, that much better, and help it remain a can't-miss happening every March here in New York City. So Susan and the Huskies, with that, let's make it official. On behalf of our presidents, welcome back to the Big East Conference. Susan, you want to come say a few words?
Good afternoon. First, I'd like to thank Commissioner Val Ackerman. She's amazing. She got us through this process with so much grace and so much enthusiasm, and she really understands UConn and why we belong in the Big East. All the Big East presidents, many of whom I've spoken to over the years, thanks so much for inviting us to the conference. We're absolutely thrilled. And I also want to thank the athletic directors at all the institutions of the Big East for their support and also their vision about a future that includes UConn. We in Connecticut are filled with gratitude, with pride, and with excitement. As Val mentioned, 40 years ago when Dave Gavitt started this league, he wanted a major conference that could compete on the national stage, and the Big East very quickly became a collegiate athletic powerhouse. UConn was one of the Big East's founding members, and over more than 3 decades, we really thrived there. We achieved the most incredible wins and endured the most heartbreaking losses, many of them in this building, but win or lose, we loved every second of it. And the Big East made it all possible and enabled us to become the kind of school that we are today. The competitions, our rivalries across sports, they were intense, they're passionate. Above all, they're a thrill to watch and be part of. The Big East always represented the highest order of athletic excellence. So in joining the Big East now and rejoining, UConn is coming home. History matters immensely, but today is really about our excitement for the future. As a university and also as a conference. This is a new era for us, and we enter it with real eagerness and optimism. So I want to take a moment to thank the American Athletic Conference, which has been our home for the last 6 years. The AAC is a terrific conference, great competitors. I want to thank our commissioner, Mike Oresco, and all the colleagues that I have in the AAC institutions for their partnership over the last 6 years. Many thanks to our governor, again, Ned Lamont, for his support, his insights, his enthusiasm about UConn. But most of all, thanks so much to the Big East for having us back, and we feel like we're home. Thanks, Val.
Okay, we'd like to do a short Q&A if we can, and if you want to raise your hands for questions, please state your name and affiliation. And if you're close to the microphone over here, that'd be great if you could use it because we have our transcription service working on it. Let's go, Josh. You go first.
Josh Newman, Asbury Park Press. Val, with 11 teams now, has there been any discussion as to what the Big East tournament format might look like?
Thanks, Josh. I think our starting point at this point will be subject to additional conversation we'll have with Joel and his team is that we could do a triple header on Wednesday. Instead of the 2 games that we've done the last few years, it would be 3, where we would play the 11 up through 6. So it would be those 6 teams playing 3, and then the winners advancing to quarterfinal day on Thursday to play the top 5 in the quarterfinal games.
Other questions? No other questions? All right, out in your front, Doug.
So maybe I'll start. Doug asked about the timetable and then had a question for Susan. So this really came together after the basketball season is when our talks really got going. And, quickly became apparent that there was mutual interest. And I would say over the last couple of weeks in particular, there's really been an acceleration. That's a lot of things came together, had to, in order for this to happen in terms of the approval of our board and the contract that we've signed. Of course, the processes that needed to take place at Connecticut's end. But it's really, Doug, been probably the last couple of months.
Thanks. So yeah, we do have a deficit in our athletics department, as do most institutions in the country. And I do see it as an investment more than a deficit. In any case, we're always working on cutting costs. Initially, we have more costs because we have to pay our entrance fee, and we'll have some work to do with the American. But this is about the long term and our long-term future. And over the long term, because of the travel changes, we're going to save a couple $1 million a year because the schools are easier to get to than they are in the American. So there's that. We have already, since Friday or Saturday when it started coming out that we were talking with the Big East, our season ticket sales are already way up in men's and women's basketball. So we'll see that. And of course, our donors who are always engaged and always excited, they are re-energized like you wouldn't believe. So through those kind of things, through more revenues, ticket sales, donors, decreased travel, and then our continuing work on efficiencies, we're not worried about that at all. But It's about the long term.
Any other questions? Okay, that almost, oh, here we go, Zach. Zach Braziller, New York Post. You want me to introduce you, Zach?
Zach Brazil, New York Post. Val, did you feel like this was needed to improve the league's brand? Like, was this something you felt that you needed another big school to kind of take the league to the next level?
You know, Zach, I will tell you, we've not been aggressively pursuing expansion. I mean, the 10 school configuration for us has worked out, I think, better than anybody expected, including people in our league. You know, on the men's basketball side, I think the proof is in what our schools have been able to do in tournament play, 2 national championships to show for it, with the great work done by Jay Wright and the Wildcats. So we were actually, we thought, sitting pretty for a while. We were settling in to the 10-team New Big East. But as I said, you know, when this opportunity presented itself to readmit a charter member who has as blue blood a basketball pedigree as anybody, who's down the road with a great fan base, and as I said in my remarks, you know, with this shared history, you know, with this league that has survived everything, you know, in the last 40 now, easing into 41 years, it was just something we felt we had to capitalize on. You know, as I said, I don't expect to go beyond this at this point, but you never know what the future holds. But it's a great day for the conference, and we're looking forward to being an 11-school league now.
Okay, Adam?
Hey, Val. Adam Zagoria from Forbes. Can you just talk about what this means for the Fox deal going forward and any other TV deals, including SNY?
Well, thanks, Adam. You know, Fox controls all Big East TV rights. We're in the middle of a long-term deal with them that goes for another 6 years. They've been outstanding partners. The way the contract works, all Big East home sporting events belong to Fox. So that means that home contests from Connecticut will all move to Fox, and then it really is up to Fox to decide, you know, what they want to do with, for example, sub-licenses. Some of you may have seen they recently renewed a sub-license with CBS Sports. That had been in place for the first 6 years and has now been re-upped. So in addition to our Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2 package, there will be a number of Big East games, including men's and women's basketball, on CBS and CBS Sports Network. So that, you know, that's the answer, Adam. We don't know yet. We, you know, once the smoke clears here and we, you know, UConn becomes a member, because that's not, you know, hasn't happened yet, we'll get into discussions with Fox about what the future holds.
Thank you, everyone. That almost ends the formal portion of our program, but we are in Madison Square Garden, home of the Big East Tournament, so of course we have a Big East Tournament video. So let's hit it.
Madison Square Garden, the home of the Big East Tournament.
New York is obviously the great city, the media capital, the tradition of the Garden.
The longest running tournament in any one venue.
It is a complete sellout.
This game is for the Big East Championship.
And we're underway from Madison Square Garden.
Coach of the Year, regular season, now the tournament championship. Well, where does this magic ride end?
Yeah, let me enjoy this. Where does it end? Where does it end?
Got to get one up. Only 4 to go. Taylor in the lane. Up, scoop shot. Shot.
Allen with Iverson on him, throws one up. And
Can it get any better than the Big East and Madison Square Garden?
And they are on their feet at the world's most famous arena.
This is special, Gus.
I tell these guys to experience the Big East tournament as a player is something that you never forget.
I'm so excited for our program, and I'm so glad to be in the greatest arena in America.
Foul. McNamara, a three-point run.
UConn, winners of the Big East Championship here at the Garden.
You guys have a chance to be part of the greatness. The greatness of Madison Square Garden. But most importantly, we have a chance to be part of the greatness of this conference. Best basketball conference in the country, bar none. Now you've worked hard, you've given yourself a chance. Go out there and be part of that greatness, son. Let's go.
We could ask the coaches to come up for a photo. We'll have a photo right up front here, Coach Oriem and Coach Hurley. And then we'll have some informal availability. Yeah, let's go on the podium.
Hey, Gino.
My second year at UConn, terrific game, beating Boston College first round NIT semis and then Ohio State before 18,000 people here as a Big East team.
And UConn has won the NIT.
From that moment, in 1990,
Up to Smith. He's had the hot hand. Alley-oop.
Syracuse, Georgetown within 24 hours, 2 afternoon games.
UConn captures the Big East tournament.
You know, kind of we didn't look back that much after that.
Allen with Iverson on him, throws one up. Unbelievable!
Kemba Walker, 5 games, 5 days.
Step back, Walker, Kemba does it again!
It's clearly one of the 2 or 3 greatest memories of my basketball life.
Connecticut has won the Big East championship.
So the Big East was really special to us. I mean, neighborhood fights are always the best. Fights in families, I call it. After the fight, you still have love and respect for the person in the family. If you're a great singer, you aspire someday to be on Broadway. Well, now you're on Broadway. You're on the mecca of basketball.
The team of the decade has another Big East championship.
This is the place that so many great players always aspire to get to. I think that nothing, quite frankly, encapsulates college athletics like the Big East and Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden, the home of the Big East tournament.
New York is obviously the great city, the media capital, the tradition of the Garden.
The longest running tournament in any one venue.
It is a complete sellout.
This game is for the Big East championship.
And we're underway from Madison Square Garden.
Coach of the Year, regular season, now the tournament championship. Where does this magic ride end?
Yeah, let me enjoy this. Where does it end? Where does it end?
Got to get one up. Only 4 to go. Taylor in the lane. Up, scoop shot. Shot.
Allen with Iverson on him, throws one up.
Can it get any better than the Big East and Madison Square Garden?
And they are on their feet of the world's most famous arena.
This is special, Gus.
I tell these guys to experience the Big East tournament as a player is something that you never forget.
I'm so excited for our program, and I'm so glad to be in the greatest arena in America.
Foul. McNamara, a three-point run.
Crossover, quick release. Oh, baby, on the foul.
Overtime number 6 from New York City. Butler into the lane, into traffic. It goes again. Right down by 2. Scoops it up, no. West Virginia has won its first Big East championship. And Providence for the first time has won the Big East championship. They are the Big East champions for the first time. St. John's, winners of the Big East championship here at the Garden.
You guys have a chance to be part of the greatness. The greatness of Madison Square Garden, but most importantly, we have a chance to be part of the greatness of this conference. The best basketball conference in the country, bar none. Now you've worked hard, you've given yourself a chance, go out there and be part of that greatness tonight. Let's go.
My second year at UConn, terrific game, beating Boston College first round NIT semis and then Ohio State before 18,000 people here as a Big East team.
And UConn has won the NIT.
From that moment, in 1990,
Up to Smith. He's at the hot end. Alley-oop.
Syracuse, Georgetown, within 24 hours, 2 afternoon games.
UConn captures the Big East tournament.
You know, kind of we didn't look back that much after that.
Allen with Iverson on him, throws one up. Unbelievable!
Kemba Walker, 5 games, 5 days.
Step back, Walker, Kemba does it again!
It's clearly one of the 2 or 3 greatest memories of my basketball life.
Connecticut has won the Big East championship!
So the Big East was really special to us. I mean, neighborhood fights are always the best. Fights in families, I call it. After the fight, you still have love and respect for the person in the family. If you're a great singer, you aspire someday to be on Broadway. Well, now you're on Broadway. You're on the mecca of basketball.
The team of the decade has another Big East championship.
This is the place that so many great players always aspire to get to. I think that nothing, quite frankly, encapsulates college athletics like the Big East and Madison Square Garden.
What a day for the Big East Conference. What a day for the Connecticut Huskies. UConn is back in the Big East, and those two seem to go hand in hand. With more on that, it is the Big East Commissioner, Val Ackerman. Val, congratulations on this great day for the conference. You talked about the UConn brand. What does it do for the Big East?
Thanks, John. A great day for sure. this is a conference that was built on basketball, and in the coincidence of our celebrating our 40th anniversary, here we have welcoming back a charter member who was so much a part of the Big East history in the late 70s, early 80s, mid 80s, you name it, and so to be bringing them back and really adding to what we've accomplished in the last 6 years. We think it's great news for our schools and for our student athletes, and we're very much looking forward to having UConn be a big part of things in the future here.
Across the nation in the last decade in college athletics, there have been a lot of different realignments, and there's been question marks associated with those. This one looks different because of the amount of tradition UConn has with the Big East. And you said, Val, that you weren't aggressively seeking to expand. Mm-hmm. When these talks started, how much did it just make sense?
It's very interesting, John, because UConn is not like our schools, our current Big East schools. I mean, we're now, the other 10 are private schools. 9 of them have Catholic missions. And so UConn is a bit not in the mold. But when we looked at the basketball brand, when we looked at the geography, when we looked at the history, and everything that we thought they would add across all of the sports that they'll be bringing to our league, it was the one school that our presidents really thought would be worth considering and ultimately voting to bring in. So we're very excited about it, and we know this is the start of a new day, a new second round, and it should be very exciting times when UConn comes in, and especially when you look at their tradition here at Madison Square Garden, the great fan support that they've brought here in all the games that they've been part of. It just seemed to make perfect sense to bring them back in, so we're very excited.
15 combined national titles between men's and women's basketball. How much do you get excited thinking about the fact that this is a program that knows what it takes to be at the top of each sport?
Well, it's both men's and women's basketball where, we've got a great new partner coming in here. On the men's side, as you noted, the successes are chronicled. On the women's side, who's done more, really, than Coach Auriemma, Hall of Fame coach, who, just keeps on delivering when it comes to outstanding postseason performances, has had great players go on and play in the WNBA. Frankly, an honor for me to get to work with him in this way, given that we've known each other for decades and did some important work together in the early years of the WNBA. So on both sports, it's great, but I'll remind UConn has been playing field hockey in the Big East for the last 6 years. They've won 3 national titles under the Big East umbrella. Up until last year, UConn was playing women's lacrosse in the Big East. So the relationship actually has been continuing in ways that people may not know. But to have them come back in the big way now is obviously very different, and again, something that we're really looking forward to.
We just heard Susan Herb say it, that the ticket sales have already been skyrocketing. There's a lot of fans watching at home. Val, what's your first message to Connecticut Huskies fans?
Well, we, welcome back to the Big East. Those of you who used to be part of things here, for those who didn't, we think you're going to be part of a conference that's really special. We look forward to having you at the men's basketball tournament here at Madison Square Garden. We've got a very long relationship here that's going to be continuing well into the future, so there'll be ample opportunities to show your support not only for the Huskies but our great league. So go Husky Nation.
I think the biggest development in news is not just Gino Auriemma and Danny Hurley being here, but the live Husky was here as well. You can tell it's a big day.
Yeah, I'm a dog lover, but so I've got Trip and I've got Jack. Butler and Georgetown have bulldog mascots, and now we've got a third live mascot, which I don't know, I'm a softie for that kind of thing. But it was great to have that special touch here, and I want to thank Susan and Dave Benedict for having him be part of the festivities.
Well, Val, I know you've got many other folks to talk to. We really thank you and congratulations.
Great, thanks, John.
All right, that's Val Ackerman, and we thank you for watching here. Follow at Big East all day and BigEast.com for the latest. The Connecticut Huskies and the Big East together again. So long from the world's most famous arena.